Hi everyone, welcome to week 16 of our Comp 1 class. This is also our last week of class, and there's not a ton that needs to be done this week besides just wrapping up writing project 4, but I do have a few steps to help you with that process, as well as some suggestions for how you can get the most out of this last week. So, task 16.1, you're going to be completing your remix. This is, it's pretty straightforward. Just continue to work on whatever you've decided to do for your remix. As a little bit of a reminder, hopefully by this point you are pretty well aware of what is being asked of you for this remix, but in case there is any confusion, you are taking an idea from one of your previous papers. It could be an idea, a topic, something that you touched on, something that you researched, and you are going to present that information in a new way, in a different way, and potentially for a new and different audience. So you can pretty much write about whatever you want, as long as you are taking an idea from one of your previous projects. You're also being encouraged to present your information in a way that is more engaging than maybe a traditional essay is. So you're being encouraged to make videos or infographics, slideshows, websites, podcasts, really anything. And this is just sort of a fun way for you to dive a little bit deeper into something that you are interested in or you think would be valuable to other people. Part 1 of writing project 4 is your remix. Part 2 is the rhetorical reflection, which is addressed here in task 16.2. Your reflection needs to be about 1,000 words. And as you work, be sure to review the following portions of the writing project for assignment description, which I will go over here. For the second part of the project, you'll need to write a 1,000-word text in which you reflect on and evaluate the rhetorical and other choices you made in creating your remix. Your reflection may address questions like, and then I have a list of questions here that you can potentially address. I've spoken to some of you in conferences about this project, and I'm kind of recommending that people take maybe 3 or 4 of these questions and write a paragraph for each. I think that's a good way to develop this reflection portion of writing project 4. I don't need you to answer all of these questions. If you'd like to, you are certainly welcome to. But I would maybe pick the ones that you feel like you have the most to say about, or the ones that are most relevant to the remix that you have decided to do. And then I think a good way to organize this paper would just to be, let's say you decide to answer this first question. How and why did you decide on your general topic for your remix piece? How does the topic connect to your earlier work in our course? And so you would just write a paragraph answering those 2 questions. Something that I'll be looking for, and really this is what I was looking for in any of your projects, is to see that you are putting some thought into it. You're going in depth, you're providing examples. If you write this reflection and you just provide short, quick little answers to these questions that I have listed here, that's not really what I'm looking for. The point is not to provide shallow answers to all of these questions. Rather, I would like to see you, really explain your thought processes for a few of these questions. So hopefully that guidance gives you something to think about, gives you some more direction for this project. Your audience for your rhetorical reflection are going to be me and your classmates. And remember, the audience for your remix may be different. You can basically choose any audience that you want to for your remix. But for part 2, the rhetorical reflection, you should be writing with me and your classmates in mind. Next, genre, stance, media, and design. For your rhetorical reflection, the genre, stance, media, and design are up to you. Maybe you'll write a traditional essay in MLA format. Maybe you'll write a letter to your classmates. Maybe you'll write a blog post or something else. For part 2, I'm completely fine with you just writing kind of a standard essay or, kind of standard reflection. Part 1, the remix, that's where I'm really going to be looking for the creativity, but it definitely wouldn't hurt for you to put a little bit of creativity into part 2 as well. So maybe instead of just writing an essay, you write a letter, you write a blog post, or you make a reflection video, something like that. I tend to appreciate, or even read more positively the projects that I can tell that people have put work into and have really thought about and have tried something creative, or maybe something they haven't done before. And then under evidence and documentation, you're not required to use sources in your rhetorical reflection, but if you do, just make sure that you properly document them. And then finally, for this task, I have a few things for you to keep in mind. The rhetorical reflection is a place where you'll give your readers, me and your classmates, the context for your remix. Tell us why you wanted to create it, how it connects to other things you've written or researched in this course, and how it connects to your own experience and interests. The rhetorical reflection is also the place where you'll explain why and how you made the rhetorical decisions you made for your remix. Tell us why you chose things like design elements such as font, images, etc., sound and music if that applies to you, use of language, the length of the piece, the types of support or evidence that you used, and so on. Don't be intimidated by the term rhetorical reflection. This is just an opportunity for you to explain the choices that you were making for this project, why you thought those would be a good idea, why you felt like that would work best for you and for your audience. Next, think about how you might want to structure your reflection. Do you want to use a chronological organization following the step-by-step completion of your project? Do you want to discuss each point of your rhetorical situation, such as purpose, audience, genre, etc., or something else? And finally, think about the format, media, and design. There are lots of possibilities here, as the assignment prompt suggests above. So hopefully all of that, my descriptions here and these little tips give you some good things to think about, and also help you get a better sense of what I'll be looking for this project. In task 16.3, you're going to be posting to the discussion board. Your first post is due actually on Tuesday by 11:59. Post as much as you can of A, your remix, and B, your rhetorical reflection. Then list any specific questions you have for your peers about how to make your work even better. Your second post is going to be due by 11:59 on Wednesday. Read and respond to one of your peers' drafts. Be sure to review both the remix draft and the rhetorical reflection draft. Once you review their work, give your peer feedback based on their specific questions and or based on the prompts below. While reading through the reflective piece, can you clearly see connections between the author's work earlier this semester and the project they're creating for Writing Project 4? If yes, give some examples of those connections. If not, explain what information you need to make those connections more obvious to you as a reader. Consider the organization of the reflective piece. Does the overall arrangement of ideas make sense? Are there any paragraphs that could be moved to improve clarity? And then within the paragraphs, are there ideas that should be reordered? Does the author clearly discuss in the reflective piece how or why they made the rhetorical choices that they made? And then review the remix piece and write down the message that you take from it in one sentence. Explain whether the message you take from the piece matches what the author intended based on their rhetorical reflection. If there's any discrepancy or disconnect, if what they wrote in the reflection doesn't line up with what you're seeing in the remix, offer some advice on how the author might rework either or both of those things. And then you can type your responses in the thread, or you can upload a video of yourself talking with your peer. Task 16.4 is going to be revising your work. Take a look at what your classmates have had to say and then revise your work accordingly. And then finally, you're going to be submitting writing project 4. You're going to submit it by Friday at 11:59 p.m. Make sure that you include your remix and part 2, your rhetorical reflection. For the remix, I know everyone is doing something slightly different. I am fine with you submitting any type of file or even a link, as long as I can easily access the remix. So if you need to upload a video file or a PDF or a Word doc, if you need to send me a YouTube video link or a link to something that you created on a website, that's totally fine. I will say though, make sure that you monitor once you have submitted the project, make sure that you monitor your email pretty closely. I will not have a lot of time to grade these projects before final grades are due. So if there's any issues with your project, I'll need to get in touch with you pretty quickly. So if you send me a link and the link doesn't work, be monitoring your email so that I can reach out to you and we can get things figured out. That's all for this week. I will also say, over the next week, take some time to, and maybe don't do this on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but around Thursday and Friday, take a look at your grades in the grade book and make sure that they line up with what you think is correct. So in other words, double check to make sure that I remembered to grade everything. There isn't anything that I overlooked. Make sure that I didn't hit the wrong number when I input a grade. I, of course, am going to look through the grade book and double check and try to correct things that I may have overlooked. But, I'll be looking at, around 20 people's grades. And so there's a much better chance that you will notice issues with your own grades than I will notice them. If you notice any issues, just send me an email. It's not a big deal, and we'll get it figured out. But make sure that you are getting the points that you deserve to get. I think that's all from me for now. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to email me. And also thank you for a good semester. I know that it is probably not a lot of people's first choice to be taking an online class, especially where the work is pretty self-guided. That's also not my preference either, but I've seen a lot of growth from many of you. I've had some very good interactions with a lot of you. So I hope that you have had a similarly good experience this semester. And I wish you the best of luck as you move on to your other classes.